on mixcloud.com/really good radio. Well, let's see what Alana Kennedy is doing. Our next guest is a person that I met we went to a Indigenous Entrepreneurs kind of Dream Summit thing. It was the first one, aka the inaugural, but it was where Indigenous people went and we just learned and got together and thought of ideas and we heard speakers, and we actually got an opportunity to pitch for, I think it was 40,000 or something like that. It was a bit of coin. But you got to pitch your ideas, and there were so many impressive people in that room. It was quite daunting, but very, very excellent to see, I guess, the landscape, of Indigenous people in entrepreneurship and business. And there was a whole range of people. There was people there that had been in business for a little while that needed some, they just wanted some little, maybe a kick up the butt or some alternative information, but also wanted to perhaps learn more or just network with other Indigenous business owners. But one of those people that was there, who was super impressive, I must say, and has a brilliant story, is Alana Kennedy. Welcome, Alana. Are you unmuted? Can you unmute yourself? Just press unmute.
There we are.
Woo! Welcome to Really Good Radio.
It is really good radio.
How are you?
Yeah, great, mate.
That's good. And who have you got here? Is that your latest employee?
This is my EA, and her name's Abigail.
What's her name, sorry?
What's your name?
Abby. Abby, do you know what an EA is?
Are you my assistant?
It means you're an assistant. Hey, thanks for joining us. Where do we go? I was doing some research on you, and I know more the business side, well, very lightly on it. Why don't you, tell us where you are actually, and where you're from, and we'll roll on from there.
Yeah, sure, cool. Yeah, so I'm currently residing in Townsville, and I love it here. I'm formerly from Mount Isa though, so it's Budjamala country up near, Mount Isa, Lawn Hill way. I'm Kalkadoon Winey woman from out that way. And yeah, born and raised there. I was there 19 years and travelled around a couple of different places and ended up here in Townsville. You can go outside if you're not.
Don't they love it? They love it. They love the main stage.
He loves it.
Loves the main stage. All of a sudden, got the most energy. It's okay. You can hang out unless mum is the boss. Mum is the boss, but you can hang out.
Look, we've been in Townsville now 11 years, and I really love it here.
Yeah, cool. So, who did you go to? What's some of your, I guess, leading into who you are now? What are some of the most pivotal moments, I guess, in your childhood or schooling? Like, where did you start taking a bit of a grip on your life and wanting to do something with purpose?
I love how you've explained that.
Oh,
or introed me there. Look, I'll be honest. I was selling grass squares when I was 7 with my twin brother out the front of my nana's place. So
no way.
The entrepreneurship thing is either in your blood or it's not.
At 7, I hear of those stories all the time, and I feel like sometimes they're discouraging to me. Like, I didn't do anything at 7. Like lemonade stands or swapping cards. Gary Vee talks about, man, I was swapping cards at 4 and I was hustling. I'm like, man, is that what do you need that story? But why were you selling grass squares? Like, was grass hard to come by up the north or something? Or
I think it was because Nan and Pop had really nice grass, and just really felt that everyone should have an opportunity to have grass like my grandparents. So.
Did you sell their grass?
Yeah, grass squares.
Oh, you just went to the back, cut out squares, hopefully with some permission.
Pop was really a great team player in that. He helped cut out the squares, and Nan set us up a table, and we sold some squares.
Oh, classic. So it's like the lemonade stand, but a grass square stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, so no, I started doing that at 7, and I think it's ingrained. I think you just want to help people. I love people, so maybe I just started helping them through their grass squares. But then
Yeah.
I had a really cool opportunity, and I think that helped to pave the way for other things in high school. Mount Isa State High, we did Young Achievement Australia, and it's an entrepreneur program where the entire cohort design, market, innovate a product, learn how to sell it. They have to build it or manufacture it, develop marketing plans, all that kind of thing. And that was in, I think, year 11.
Was that in your? Did you say it's so at your school? You had?
Yeah, at school, and
that's quite modern. That's quite.
It is. It is.
That would have been pretty rare. I had never heard of that. I don't want to know. I don't want to give away what year you went to year 11. It's private, but look, I'm guessing it was at least 10 years ago. But yeah, it's interesting. That's impressive from Mount State School.
Yeah, State School, please.
That's so cool.
Good girl.
What a treat! And you really resonated with that kind of learning.
Yeah, I loved it. I was working in that program as the marketing manager, and I really loved learning about the value proposition of things and how to speak about something that's on your heart with passion and encourage that kind of sales process. So really enjoyed that.
Fresh out of school, what did you do? Did you complete school, or are you itching to get out? Were you just like, this is not for me, you're boxing me in?
Oh, I tell you,
because most entrepreneurs or people that think like that, school is the worst. It's like, you're slowing me down, I can't do things in groups of 30. Just get out. I want to roll. True?
Well, I'm a social committee chairperson, if that says much.
Naturally. Good.
I loved school, but yeah, I wouldn't consider myself an academic. So sweat equity is what I know to do. And I enjoyed school, but I just wasn't really sure about where to go or what to do. But I knew I loved this whole idea of business and marketing, sales, selling. But yeah, out of school, I did many things. I think I've had every job on the planet.
Give us the most obscure one.
Pardon?
Give us the most obscure job, like the one that you're like no one would believe, or the least likely that Alana Kennedy would have done.
Oh, gee.
I'll start. I was a train conductor. Clicking tickets on the train from Melbourne to Warrnambool. I lasted about 3 months and fell asleep on the train in between clicking tickets, so I lost my job.
I think two of the most interesting, I was a flight attendant for US Air in the United States.
Oh, cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, and I was also a Red Bull rep in the United States.
I can see you repping. I can see both those things, Alana. That's not obscure. I'm talking about anyway. It sounds like you knew what you wanted to do a bit more than me. And so some of the typical questions, but also an interesting one from your perspective, I would like to hear is being Indigenous and female in a male-dominant white world, meaning running your own business. How have you found that? Has it been tiring? Have you thrived in that environment, thinking, stuff you, I'm coming through anyway? How have you found it over the last 10, 15 years of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, look, it's been challenging to say the least. And I've enjoyed it though. And I think the key part here is if you back yourself, other people will back yourself, do you know? And so, yeah, I think people just want to be a part of something. Are you going to behave yourself?
Yeah. She wants to be a part of something.
She sure does. Little sparkle party.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so I think that, I just needed to back myself in whatever I was doing. I needed to make a decision to back myself. And in business, particularly when not everyone can see your vision or your heart, it's Excuse me just a sec, please.
That's okay. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, hey, you got a good EA there. She knows where the post-it notes are, and she's put him in a spot where you won't.
This is why I'll be honest. This is why business is challenging. You get in a zone, and
So
EA's always got to have another conversation.
It's so impressive. It's one of those things I talked about a bit earlier. I can't give advice to someone when I've got two arms that doesn't have arms. I got no idea what it's like to be a mum or a parent for that moment. It's just so and people that aren't in those situations underestimate how much energy and drive. Where do you find energy to do these things? Did you start? How old's your daughter?
So I've got an 11-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah, wow. So life's pretty settled in with kids and business and the juggling.
Mate, it is. It runs. If I didn't have a phone with everything scheduled in, things wouldn't happen. Everything runs off. My phone and my schedule. Everything's got to be scheduled in for both the girls, and business is scheduled in and around the girls.
Yeah.
Pony club and soccer training or whatever else. It's busy. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because I'd rather be busy and, doing something that I feel that's impactful and purposeful, and have the girls watch me. I'm sure some people wouldn't sign up to my lifestyle. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
But it's my own journey. It's my own marathon. And what I love is the girls have known what it's like to kind of have to sacrifice sometimes. For the greater good. But I hear my eldest daughter, get involved in our, little business conversation. She's so proud of our business. I hear her talk to people on my behalf about how proud she is. And it's really cool for kids to be involved in business at any age, because, future proofing is really about different streams of income and teaching our kids how to create that. So it's, yes, there is sacrifice. And yes, it's part of the grind, but it's purposeful. We can change the community by doing these kinds of things, and teach our children along the way that they have to learn how to turn around and give back at all times,
Yeah, spot on. And I think that's a unspoken thing about entrepreneurship and maybe in particular parenthood, whereas back a while ago, a few decades ago, entrepreneurship or going out to business on your own as a younger person or someone with not much money or no backing would be the stupidest idea on the planet and so unsupported by your parents, which I think has bred cookie cut people and people that are trying to fit into what the landscape looks like commonly, but not thinking for yourself and what suits you and going against the grain. When did you make a jump from working for other people, doing your flight attendant stuff, taking the big risk into business ownership, as you'd call it, or you just talked about sacrifice. When was that moment that you're like, you know what, I need to make a bigger sacrifice because I'm not happy doing this. Let's get into something on my own?
It was 2.5 years ago. I was working in a multi-level marketing business model and I loved it, but I think my motives were to build wealth, and I love being able to build wealth and support other people, teach them how to build a business, sell great products that I really believed in. But I think I had to check my motive and check what I was really about, because I think, I've had a less than desirable past, and I think I needed to stand for something more than I was, because I think anyone can paint you a Picasso in business, but I was sick of writing someone else's story, and I wasn't having an impact that I really wanted to have in that existing business model. And, for me, it's all faith-based and a whole lot of sweat equity. So it was a huge step of faith, I can't tell you, monumental step of faith. because I chose to relinquish a pretty decent wage to go back to ground zero, merely for the purpose of believing for something better and maybe creating hope for other people, in that if they took a step of faith too, checked their motive or checked their heart and did something purposeful and impactful, maybe, just maybe, I could create something more than wealth. Do you know? So yeah, two and a half years ago, and I got a phone call from a really great guy, Gene Giedrich from Indigenous Business Australia, to say that he'd actually completed an application on my behalf for an accelerator program.
Cool. Yeah, good friend.
Yeah, well, try telling someone that, I don't think that I need that accelerator. I'm already in a business. But I think there comes a point where people see something in you that you don't necessarily see in yourself. And even though you're in an existing business structure, I think it takes, a bit of courage to listen to what's going on around you, to see if there is really an opportunity to do something differently. So I can't say it wasn't hard, because it was extremely hard, but I preferred to be really resourceful financially for myself and the girls, to do something that every day I woke up, just knowing that I was doing something different that was going to have a greater impact. And there were days, I won't lie, that I struggled to see it. But when I first started in the accelerator program, I went in there without a business concept. Again, it was faith-based for me. And I come out of there with a concept, and, your first business is never your last. And so I journeyed with a couple of different business concepts, but then obviously Okasan was birthed. And I think just having courage to do something and look at kind of how you're equipped, what's your uniqueness, instead of striving, just look at how you're equipped and what you can do with what you have,
So how did Okasan, which is, explain Okasan, what it is. You talked loosely about how it developed. It popped up kind of subconsciously, or through you were going through some other avenues. Tell us about what Okasan is, where it is today, and what was that initial birthing moment of Okasan?
So I'll tell you the initial birthing moment. I was in the accelerator program, and I'd already developed, a one business concept, and it wasn't enough for me. I didn't feel right about it. I'd spent 8 weeks on it, and I didn't feel right about it. Come to the end of the accelerator, and again, huge step of faith, I decided to niche into the kind of male-dominated skincare part of the industry, because men really need help with and support with skincare. I find women look to be educated about skincare a whole lot more than men do. And
totally. That's going back to what we were brought up with, like,
right?
I ain't gonna
gatekeepers of information, even in our culture.
yeah.
And I bought out Oka Bloke originally. It was a 3-step men's skincare range, and I did a lot of research. It's a great market for it, great weight in the market, but also I wanted something for men that they didn't necessarily want. And I think that was a great learning and a great pivotal moment for me in my career, to stop giving people what I think they want and just ask, what do you want?
Listen to the market.
Listen to the market and not be so emotionally attached, right?
Yeah.
I did a sampling program for Oka Bloke, and all of the feedback came back and said, we really just like the third product, which is the sunscreen that does everything.
Yeah, right.
Moisturizer with an SPF in it, but they told me they really liked a sunscreen that does everything. And so I took the products off the market and relaunched with Okasan sunscreen that does everything.
What was Oka Bloke that Okasan had that didn't? What didn't Oka Bloke have? What was it?
So too many steps. So it was 3 steps instead of 1.
Right. Yes.
And
Come on.
it was skincare as opposed to sunscreen.
Yeah, right. So men are more willing to put on, is it the same ingredients?
No.
Right.
No.
So you've entered the male, and how's it going? How's Okasan going, and how's it being received, and sunscreen, I was thinking before today about, it's an idea that it would be frightening. We've got sunscreens. It's not an open market. No, it is, but it's not a blank market. It's an already pretty intense market out there. But men's sunscreen, what makes your sunscreen different from what's out there? Banana boat. Clearly, I haven't put on sunscreen for a while. That's not saying I don't put it on, but I just don't go outside very much in the hot sun. But someone up your way, which I'm sure is a great testing ground. Why? What's special about Okasan? And in particular, I like. You can talk about the ingredients, but also the purpose thing comes back into it.
Yeah, sure. Look, the key, differentiators are the fact that it's really absorbent. And there's not a white ghosting factor that you have to worry about.
I hate that look.
Everybody hates that look. I don't know why we still formulate sunscreens with ghosting. It's on me, but anyway.
Right.
So there's, men in particular, right? They want to fly under the radar and not have people know that they've just put sunscreen on.
Yeah.
Because it's still a thing. So it was really important for us to get something that was highly absorbent, with no ghosting, and something that was really light and easy to wear, so that we could encourage reuse, because I think that's where the buck stops. They put it on in the morning and they just don't bother to reapply because they don't enjoy it. You know? So they were they are the key differentiators, but I guess the main one is that we've put in key botanicals that culture have used for many, many years to try and undo some of the damage that is caused through, being out in the sun or out in the weather throughout the day, because they are out in the sun all day. And it is as important as water. So so the botanicals help to kind of heal, where the formulation with the sunscreen is what helps to protect.
Can you tell us what the botanicals are?
Yeah, so we've got Kakadu plum, we have Centopedia, and we've got a little bit of the lily pilly in there as well, which is great for anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral.
What are you up to today?
Candy.
You what? Are you drawing? Eye candy. How old are you?
How old are you?
4. Oh, that's cool. And what's a 4-year-old up to today? What are you still in your pajamas? Oh, is that just a cool top that I'm not saying. What's that? It's a dress. Show us. Can you stand up on Mum's knees? Cool. Cool. Do you use Mum's sunscreen that she has made? Yeah.
Do you like our sunscreen? You don't like our sunscreen?
Delete that review. Not good for kids. No.
No, they're actually, I'm pretty impressed. They're actually pretty good at putting on and reapplying. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see them actually do that. They're both quite proud, which is really cool.
And so where's can we get sunscreen now? Is it across Australia? How do we get it? Where do we pick it up? Do we buy it online? How do I get it and rub it on my face?
So at the moment we've got it going through Bunzl and Blackwoods. So it's
Blackwoods, yeah.
Yeah, for the PPE kind of wholesale side of the business. But in 2 weeks we open up and launch our online strategy, where the Australian public will all be able to purchase Okasan and have it for themselves.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool. I do like the thought of it not making me look cream. Like, it's so true. And that 50 plus stuff seems to always go that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why the formulation is so important, And to encourage reuse is the key factor for anyone, kids. We've had great feedback from a lot of autistic family or autistic children in the families in terms of them not complaining about it stinging their eyes and it not being so fragranced that they they want it. They'll reapply it or allow their parents to actually put it on, which is unlikely with other sunscreens, just because of the thickness, the weight, and the chemical, the chemical content.
Alana, it's been so good to talk to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking out a segment of your morning where you probably could be looking after your daughter and hanging out with her. I just can see.
I think I'd rather be on the radio.
It's so impressive. I genuinely do. I'm so impressed by mums, and especially mums that are doing a bit more than just looking after the daughter. And your story is really impressive. And if there's any support that I can do or the radio can, but I'm sure hopefully the listeners are getting onto your site. The site is called www.Okasan, which is OCHRESUN.com.
Yeah, that's it. And look, what we're trying to build is something that far exceeds that of wealth. We want it to be profitable, but we want it to be influential. And in time, this will really create, it's on my heart to support those people coming out of addiction. So really building a space in between for them to help reintegrate back into community after coming out of rehab and recovery. So yeah, that's really on my heart. And I've got some really incredible people kind of backing me and supporting me in that journey. So Okasan will mean so much more than sunscreen. In hopefully, months to come, particularly after this retail store, the online retail strategies.
It's going to be great.
Launched. Yeah, it's got a purpose, and everyone can be involved in that,
Yeah. I'm really cool. I hope people, when they listen back to this, they listen to your start selling square pieces of lawn. It's just cool. It's cool to hear that story, and
anyone can be in business, mate. If I can have a less than desirable past and start selling grass at 7, anyone can do this. Just take a step of faith.
I love it. Alana, have a lovely morning, and I wish you the best, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks so much, Troy. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.
Bye-bye.
Wow.